minutes or anything like that for WPAC.
Okay, Mark. Oh, Mark, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Threw me off. He hasn't been here for a while. So, like this is the first meeting we've had since he's been gone.
Right, it's good to go.
I'm sorry, you said we don't have to take minutes. Is that what you said?
Right.
Okay.
Do you have a notepad? Sure. I can follow that shot. Your meetings.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, look at you.
Have a chair.
That's cool.
I took this one over
Okay,
here.
I'll go here. I'll do this.
Dang, I hope it's going to.
You look like you're dressed for Hawaii.
No, I look like I'm dressed to go out in the jungles. This old jacket is so old.
Those are the best.
Oh yeah, that's at least 15 years old almost.
Nice.
So, I still got an old ski jacket that's unfortunately won't fit around the sun
Well, I
anymore.
hear you there.
I quit skiing 30 years ago. And
Never got into that.
well, I got into it big time.
So where all have you been skiing?
Oh, I used to ski Guanella Pass. Of course, it's not there anymore.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Used to ski Eldora, Winter Park, Mary Jane, some other place over by Granby. I can't even think of the name of it. Breckenridge. That was when Breckenridge was nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
I mean, literally nothing. It was just the old road that went down to the
Right.
house.
It was less than Guanella probably at that point.
Well, no, it was Guanella. Guanella was nothing but a ski area.
Right.
And that actually used to be belonged to Ray Romer.
Casey.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm sorry, yeah, I haven't met you.
I'm Casey.
I'm Debbie.
Nice to meet you.
So are you looking good?
Good.
Sorry, you know.
Okay, I'm doing good.
I'm sitting in for Neil today, just to take.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
My
the
ears
gal
are
I've
plugged
seen.
up.
Hi, Erin. You're the gal I've seen that, working in,
The park.
yeah, the parks. Awesome. And I told John, I said, they got a woman in there.
Yeah.
That's
So I
nice.
didn't want you to be.
Nice.
That's neat. No, I've been here since August. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hi,
Debbie. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. It's, our boiler's not working, so.
Oh, that's what's
That's
going
why it's so
on.
cold in
Okay.
here. It has to be a quick meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We're gonna.
Well, I was gonna
run
fall
through this.
asleep anyway.
Yeah.
Good to see
Okay.
You too. This-
Sorry.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sit over here
Okay,
where I can.
and didn't you used to take notes or something?
I will be happy to take
Oh, okay,
notes.
because I don't, me,
I
it's a
brought my-
computer and a sack of rocks, and I'm the sack of rocks.
So
I
I
don't-
can,
I don't keep anything.
and I used to be a note taker where it was,
Crucial.
hours
Oh,
instead of notes, but now I just write down action items.
yeah, okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fine, that's fine.
Okay.
See if we can come up with something.
And
Well, I've already went through a whole bunch of things, because they changed a whole bunch of stuff on, so.
Am I good?
Yeah, sit on down
You want
here.
me to sit?
And I will also ask if, I mean, in a lot of meetings, I noticed that at the beginning of the meeting, they accept the agenda or I know we have to post the agenda, but as long as we're not talking about an action item, is it okay to add something to the agenda just for a discussion point?
She'd be the one to ask.
We should
No,
go.
so,
Because I know we do have to post
but,
it.
well, yeah, we're gonna be talking, I think they had on there the 5-year plan or something.
Yeah.
So, because the last board meeting, Paul says, I want a 5-year plan. And, we had I guess I would call a meeting to order, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, I call this meeting to order, the Westcliff Parks Committee.
Would you lend me one sheet of paper, please?
Oh,
Which
yeah,
I can
yeah.
spare, and that way I don't have to just type everything.
Oh, yeah, just,
Thank you, sir. Okay.
in fact, I don't even have the agenda with me. So,
In
you know,
fact, I think I can sign on here,
okay,
and get to my Gmail. Password guest 123.
It's pretty light, isn't it?
let me get her in there and ask her if we're getting this thing stuff right.
Yeah, you can get past me here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, except you have to hop over the cord.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No problem.
Melanie,
Or you could do
can you
that.
come here?
I'm just gonna find my own
Thank you.
hotspot, that'll be easier.
Just wondering, how are we supposed to be running this as far as, do we have to have a roll call and everything or?
No,
none of
it's
that?
just, it's a workshop, so,
Just,
yeah, that's how it's
okay.
always been, so very informal, notes aren't taken, you can't vote on anything or make any decisions. You can just come to a consensus that you wanna bring to the board.
Okay.
It's just like planning commission or something like that.
Okay, you got it, okay.
Do you post our agenda?
No.
So we can add discussion items?
You shouldn't,
Okay.
because we have a record of it. And we do post it, we're supposed to post it on the front door, but I don't think that got done with
Well,
Christmas
yeah,
and whatever, and there's not a clear staff member that is for this, because Neil is busy out doing stuff, and he's the one that was voted as the staff member for this.
And he told me last year that he preferred not to be, quote, a member of the committee. If we needed him, for a specific thing,
Okay.
that we could call him in. But when, like at the county commissioner meetings and some different types of governmental meetings, at the beginning, I've noticed there's an item on the agenda that says accept agenda. And at that point, I have also observed, not involved personally, but observed that occasionally, like a discussion but non-action item could be added.
Sure.
And so we can outline notes. People could join this if they wanted to.
If they
correct?
want, yeah, if they wanted to, it's a Zoom link, and it will be published on our YouTube page.
Okay. Well, as a workshop, it just seems that this first meeting could be without violating anything, as long as we don't move forward. Just an orientation kind of thing as we start new.
Sure,
If
sure.
you are okay with that, if not, we'll strictly stick to the agenda that you have posted.
The agenda that I have is what Randy gave me, so it's a committee that could be dissolved at any time or, taken into planning commission.
Yeah.
It's really,
Like you said, it's just a workshop.
right, it's
We're
just
gonna be discussing the parks and what
Right.
the
you want to move forward and talk
right,
about
and what the
that.
town has told us, the
Yeah.
last meeting.
Yeah, and then you would give an update to the board.
Yeah,
So it's nothing that you can make decisions on, you can just discuss it and sure,
okay,
however that moves forward for you guys.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. And maybe we'll get ourselves more structured as we go forward. But the one thing that I wanted to just kind of bring up to the committee that we didn't really talk about was whether this was a good size for a working group, or if we should ask if, I mean, we've talked about it, it becomes unwieldy sometimes if there are too many. But I also wonder if 3 is quite enough for ideas and,
well, we at the board meetings, when we were discussing that, sometime, gosh, I think it was first of last year, we decided we were gonna keep with 2 board members and then, 2, public
For here?
on the committee, yes.
Okay, so you would need another board member.
We need another board member, but at the last meeting, nobody really was, so I'm gonna bring that up to the board meeting.
pick me.
Yeah. It's one of those things, it's hard to get people
Yeah.
to volunteer for things, so,
It's like this.
yeah.
And
Okay.
in the absence of another board member, then would either of you, any of you, entertain the idea of another community?
I don't know, we'd have to ask the, we'd have
Board.
to-
Oh, I'm sure they
the board.
would.
Well,
What do you think?
I don't know, you know, we've had so many people on and off, on and off, on and off and on and off.
So
You know, I'm the
maybe,
only one that was originally from the original board from 5 years ago.
okay,
And that's when we were working with this.
maybe then maybe the wisest thing is just to carry forward for a time and see how it goes.
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to
Okay.
discuss some things that we've been discussing in the past, so.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
sure. thing.
Thank you, thank
All right,
you.
thank you. I wanted to bring up something. We had decided that this was the layout for the park. But
Oh,
we have,
Memorial,
yeah, Memorial Park,
Okay.
okay? And, but we forgot about something. They have a lot of events here,
Huh?
okay? And we didn't leave any room for events,
Uh-huh.
correct?
Well, in a way, we did and we didn't. It depends on how big you want it to be, because the volleyball area,
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna have to leave for events. We're gonna have to leave this whole area right here open for events. Because like they had the bounce castle and all that other stuff.
kids
the fire
council and all
department.
that, they have a
You know,
big thing.
so we really need to leave that area, I believe, open.
and it depends on to me, like you're saying, to leave it open, would we leave it a grassy, flat surface?
Grassy and flat, yeah.
Okay,
So-
and then,
All of these things here that the berms and all the stuff that we're putting into here, we need to sort of incorporate them
around the
around
edge.
the edges.
as
And
opposed to-
I also wanna ask the board, because we really never got a definitive answer on the old baseball field. You know, I know we were talking about putting a Strider track or something in there.
Or at least maybe move some of the berms to that end if they
We
weren't
might, you know,
using it.
But, you know, I wanna make sure that the board understands that if they say, yeah, we can do it, then if people come up complaining, then.
Yeah, and I think we only addressed it a little bit, Randy, in the presentation of if we need big flat areas, we have the soccer fields that are underutilized at Hermit.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, you know, the more we put in and take away the large open areas,
Yeah,
the more one of these days, we're gonna have to look for more park space.
yeah.
Because we get a lot of events and, you know, it's, with the bluffs down there, yeah, we get people down there, so we really can't be doing too much with that down there.
Right,
And so it leaves this park and the soccer field over there, so I wanna make sure that we have plenty of room for people to have events.
And do the soccer fields acclimate themselves well to having barbecues and stuff? I mean, because that's all built in Memorial, right? Like barbecues and cover and, I mean,
Well, we got the pavilion
the
now.
pavilion.
Yeah,
But do we have, well, I guess the bathrooms are across the street.
bathrooms are across the street, that's something else too. The bathrooms, because well, I tell you what, let's get with you on what we have for this next year coming up.
Okay.
The board has decided, they gave $100,000 to the parks. They took 60,000, it was supposed to be for the bathrooms, we're not going to get the bathrooms. The bathrooms are gonna get put on the back burner, and I'll explain that later, what happened with that. But we don't get the $60,000 to work with. So we now have $40,000, that's all we have
Okay.
for this year.
Okay, that's $40,000 for this committee to consider. You said $100,000 to parks. Does that
That's
include
that's what was in the budget. Okay, but they took the bathrooms out of that, so now all we have is $40,000, so.
This is just for me, this one.
Yeah.
They just decided the budget could not afford, the total
Well,
town budget
the-
couldn't afford the bathrooms.
They left it, I believe they left it at 100,000, but they took the bathrooms out, but we're not gonna be able to do anything with the bathrooms this year. So, and that's, what we got is $40,000.
Okay.
So we need to really sit down and figure out what's the most important thing that we need to do with that $40,000. So I know that we've got a lot of dead trees and the town has been cutting them, taking them down. So I'd like to see us put into that,
To plant some more.
into this, where we can plant more trees along the edges here and maybe even a berm or two. But, trees are gonna cost us, what, about $2,000 a piece, aren't they?
The ones, yes, for a nice tree, I would think
Yeah.
so, because the ones at JPP, Just Price,
Yeah.
wound up costing about $1,000. And those trees are not, quote, trees, they're
No.
shrub trees.
Okay, and I'd like to also stay with some of the same sort of trees down in that area, some sort of a pine or some aspens. So, but we also need to make sure that where we put the trees, and that's why we need to talk to Neil too, so we don't go chopping up our sprinkler systems
Right.
and be able to actually use the sprinkler systems to water the trees with. So what I'm saying is making sure that they're close enough to a sprinkler, so Neil isn't having to drag around the water truck,
Yeah.
to water all these things.
Can I just interject there and say that we have found and research from different universities
Mhm.
suggest that when you plant, especially one of the larger variety of trees, whether it's an aspen or not that large, but like the big spruce that we have in Just Price Park and ponderosa pines, say, or, birch, that you have to plan for the first 3 to 5 years, depending on the rainfall, to supplement. But after that, a well-designed sprinkler system that does address the needs of the trees should take care of it. So in our plan, I would also suggest, as we go forward, that we think about how we can temporarily augment the watering of trees, which we can then remove.
Yeah, and it might be, like I said, they might just have to get out there and run around and water the trees. Yeah, but then we'll also be we're also gonna have to put something around the trees, like over there by the bowling alleys.
Yeah, the water tanks.
The well, maybe the water tanks, but I'm talking about the fencing around it.
Fencing for the
The
deer.
deer have just gotten brutal. You know, they have just tore everything up. So we're gonna have to do that for probably 5 years, put something around there till everything gets well established.
Right.
And also I was thinking too, that the way that the Just Price Park is set with the trees, and then you have your shrubs around the trees and the flowers and everything else and the bulbs that you use, we're probably gonna have to do the same thing with that. So I'd like to try to keep it incorporated in where we put the trees. That's where we also put berms and the flowers and bulbs and things like that. So we've got a fence around it for the first 5 years to actually keep it. And yes, a watering tank would be good because that way we can put the watering tank out there where when you all come around, you can dump it in the watering tank and then it just goes down. That's just gravity fed, correct?
It's just occurring to me, you work with Neil.
Mhm.
Okay, you're the
Yeah, I'm
piece I
I'm
haven't
sorry,
met.
I'm
That's
sitting in
okay.
for Neil because Neil couldn't be here today, so
Yeah.
he just wanted me to take notes
And as long as, maintenance and parks and all of that is thank you for being here.
Yeah.
That's just awesome. Okay, well, yeah, because we want to work within the confines of what is possible that the town
Right,
can
yeah.
do.
I don't want to overwhelm the town with
Yeah.
We just have a day of watering trees, no?
Yeah, well, and
Which
like,
in the past, I think it's like, it was Thursdays, I think,
Yes.
whoever it was at Just Price, I can't remember what that group is called.
High Altitude Garden Club.
Yes, you
And
guys watered trees, or they
I
watered trees.
personally kind of did it and took it on for a few volunteers, Debbie and a few others that would help with the trees. But I explained to the club that the trees truly belong to the town. They're not a club project. We were just stepping in because you were shorthanded and it was a gift to the town that the
Gotcha.
town didn't expect,
Yeah, because I
that
know
was-
once a week, we went and
Right.
watered, drug the hose over there and give them
Yeah.
like 10 gallons, however many gallons of water they needed.
Yeah,
so.
and so again, these particular trees, because they're shrubby trees, they're very durable, trees as a rule.
Mhm.
We'll see if they come back this spring because they were a bit mishandled,
Yeah.
but, they, they just generally survive. So I told the club that those that helped me volunteer for that probably after the second year, they really wouldn't need anything that wasn't provided by the sprinkler system.
yeah.
But a true tree that is deciduous or one of our big evergreens is going to need more and longer care.
Yeah.
But having said that, going back to the trees down by the bowling alley and fences around them, I think the fences remain critical, but I don't know when we can ever
Well,
remove them.
those species don't necessarily grow up where they're not touchable anymore, it's always gonna be clear.
Yeah.
The minute we take the fence down, they're gonna be cleared up to this high or
Yeah,
whatever.
I took a fence down and guess what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
They-
as
they
high as they
cleaned
can
everything
reach.
from there.
So, but as far as watering goes, their roots after 5, 6 years should be established.
Right,
And
right.
I'm wondering
well-
if we could repurpose those tanks that were purchased by, I think, the garden
because how
club.
long's it been?
It'll be 5 years,
Oh, okay.
if not more.
Oh,
I
it's
can go
more than
back
that,
and look.
almost 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's, because we went through this when we asked the town to continue to water the trees for another year. It was at the end of 4 or 5 years because we had, during our somewhat drought. So it's in that range. It's somewhere between 5 and 10 years. But could we think about asking the garden club to
Yeah.
repurpose
And,
those?
and like I said too, we, the town, as far as I'm concerned, if we need water, then that's part of what we need to budget, those tanks. And like I said, I'd like to keep it where you got, like down there, where you've got the trees and the shrubs and everything all together so we can fence it off and don't get it tore up. We can keep mulch onto it to keep from the evaporation and the weeds and everything else. So that the town doesn't have to go over there and try mowing right up next to a bunch of trees and around a bunch of staked out areas for because you have to, I've always taken trees and put ran this, oh,
The support things.
yeah, the support things down, you know, and you gotta leave them there for at least 1-2 years. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with a tree that's gone,
Mhm.
you know, leaned over, so.
Especially the way they're planted here, but that's a whole
Yeah,
other story.
so that's what I would
Don't
like
get her
to,
started. Yeah.
that's what I'd like to just focus on for this year, because
Okay,
that's probably gonna take most of the money.
yeah,
You know, if we put in 10 trees, that's $20,000 right there. By the time we get them planted, and then you gotta put the mulch around them, then if we could go with the flowers and shrubs and berms or other things around there, those 10 trees are gonna suck up that $40,000 real quick. And I'd like to keep them to where it doesn't look like we're just shoving them into one area. You know, break them up all the way around the park. So in case the situation comes down that we can't get more money, the economy goes downhill, we don't have something that looks like we just started and left it. So
So how many trees do you think we could plant and do in there?
I don't know anything. You're the one that you know, has always been the tree person and the flower person. That's why I was wanting to know, do you think we can do like maybe 8 to 10 of them?
No, I don't. And just looking at this plan, instead of just, you know, just throwing it out completely, I would like to, just for a moment, go back to where we were in the beginning, is saying that we would work on the southern end of the park. And I still would like to consider where the playground ends.
With the playground,
It ends right
basically-
here.
the playground ends right there, yeah.
So I would still like to consider planting berms and trees and shrubs.
The board, the last meeting was not in favor of putting things like that into the playground area.
They wanted to keep this large
wanna
as an
keep
open
it-
space.
As a playground area, yeah, and put equipment. So that brings up another thing too. When we get ready to do that, this is gonna take a lot of money. And if we can't get grants for the playground equipment, that's gonna cost more money.
Okay, and it brings me back to the question of, it seemed that the surface of this whole area was in question. Is that
That's
within
still-
our part of this group, or is that totally just the
would-
town and?
I don't
Parks.
know if it's going to be considered it may be considered maintenance. So then therefore would come out of Neil's budgets for the park instead of capital. It's a capital improvement, so I don't know if it would go there or the Neil's budget. It
Because,
would probably end up being in our group, capital improvements. So
well, that would take up the entire $40,000.
that would wipe the whole thing out. Oh, yeah.
So that's a
And-
question that needs to be answered.
Well, that's why I was saying this year, we haven't gotten any definitive word on that sand or whatever it is we're going to have to put over,
Rubber mulch or a,
rubber mulch or whatever it is.
yeah.
And then we also have the concrete work around here and everything, so.
Well, even without expanding into an area that does not exist, just staying in the area that is actually there, do you know have you gotten that far in your planning for the year of how the parks, and how do I address, is it parks management, or are you park maintenance?
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Okay, so then whether or not that is on, I mean, I know Neil was very adamant about that in last year's meeting, that this was something that was inspected and had to be upgraded and that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
And also the playground equipment's gotta be upgraded, you know.
So we kind of need to know if that is exclusive of our funds before we make too many long-range plans, I think.
Well, yeah, and yeah, I'm just coming up with what I thought we could do for this year to do something.
to do something. Let's do
This
something.
is the whole
Even
thing
if
of
it's wrong.
something. You know, I mean, you consider the fact you want to, you're talking about a volleyball court, that's gonna cost $25,000
Okay, yeah.
right there.
Forget that. We'll have a grassy area instead of a volleyball
Yeah.
court. They can
They can bring the
treat
nets,
it the
yeah,
way they've always treated it out there
yeah.
as a ad hoc volleyball, badminton, whatever they want.
Yeah.
Not a true quote.
Right.
Professional style court.
And we need to
Anyway.
make sure that, like, for the grassy area, when we have events with jumpy houses, that the big trucks can get in and deliver all those things.
That's
and
another thing, yeah.
tables
Because you
and
do have
chairs and-
two big gates down there.
Yeah, so we gotta make sure
They
we
can
don't
go
plant
through it.
in the wrong,
Right, yeah, you
spot.
don't wanna plant in there, but that's something that, when we go to laying out everything.
yeah,
Because
Uh,
last year when they did like foam spray and all of that, that the kids played in the bubbles.
oh, yeah,
That was at Hermit. Because that was in the parking lot, because they needed a solid surface for
right,
that.
right.
So it's kind of knowing what events this town would like to host as well.
Well, I don't wanna get down into what the events are going to be. I
Yeah,
just
I
wanna
agree.
leave them enough room that they can have events.
And they should, as you said, access, so it
But-
needs to be near the gates.
Well, and this is a good place to put a lot of those things because of the simple fact, you've got big gates on both sides, east and west sides.
Right there near the
But, yeah.
midsection,
I,
kinda,
yeah,
yeah,
in the midsection, yeah, that's where I'd like to leave it.
yeah.
And also, we've got other things too to consider. We've got right now, I just Price Park, I don't even wanna, just the regular maintenance on it, I don't think we need to do anything. We cut down all the dead trees.
Right,
And if you really look at it, where the old trees were, and I was saying that a couple of years ago, that great big blue spruce there was choking out all the sunlight and everything else.
It
So
still needs to be trimmed
well,
and.
that would fall under maintenance, so that would be, as far as I'm concerned, something Neil was doing.
As do
Uh,
other trees that suffer
yeah,
a little
And,
damage.
and on Main Street, the board was talking about, we were talking about Main Street, what they wanted to do there. And, basically, the only thing we're gonna do right now with Main Street is the planters that, you guys always put out in the summertime. And, any trees that die, they'll just take them down. We will not be replacing any trees because the board sort of agreed with me about, trees on Main Street and it taking up all the room and blocking the buildings and everything else, so.
oh, so Paul's cool with not replacing trees now?
Paul was not happy about it.
Oh, okay.
He wanted trees, but, the rest of the board sort of said no, so.
It's hard to maintain a tree in the
It's-
space
In a
provided.
foot
for-
square
And then,
of
yeah,
dirt.
and you're taking away from your, do you need to be somewhere?
No.
Oh, okay,
No, I'm
I was
good.
gonna say, if we're taking
No,
you
no,
away
no,
from.
no.
some-
I'm
Yes,
good.
okay, so, that's sort of what the board was leaning with last time. So the only thing we're gonna be doing is taking down if the tree dies, we take it down. We're not going to be replacing it, and we're actually probably gonna wanna talk to you about maybe getting more barrels. And
Interesting.
yeah, well, I know what the reason is, because it's a garden club that takes care of those.
Yeah.
So, more barrels and maybe, doing something that way.
Is it
instead of-
feasible if we cut a tree down and then you've got the square dirt thing and it's empty? Is it feasible to put one of the
Yes.
barrels on top of that spot?
The problem with it is that the barrel, well, let me go back. The garden club is in the process of spending quite a bit of money
Mhm.
to replace the plastic barrels with solid wood, upgraded wine and whiskey barrels. And they're rustic and will look, that we had them originally.
Okay.
And there are some things I
They're-
know about taking care of wooden barrels that I did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
know about. And so I've spoken to the manufacturer in Eugene, Oregon at length
Mhm.
about our climate and the barrels that we were purchasing. There are also larger barrels that can be purchased. These barrels that we're purchasing right now, and we're purchasing 36 barrels, will replace the black plastic tubs
Yeah,
that the garden club has now.
yeah, which are the things that replaced the wooden barrels with.
Right, and the wooden barrels were,
They were cheaper.
they were cheaper. They're not these
They were
solid
not
wood
meant to.
tongue and groove
Yeah.
type barrels that we're buying. So that is one thing that I did want to bring up in this. We do not want to, actually, we don't have the volunteers to go out and care for the plants. Those
Okay.
were always the merchants that wanted them
Yeah.
and paid for them originally.
Mhm.
Then when the town gave us a grant
Yeah,
and yearly gives us funds
yes.
to take
Mhm.
care of them, we no longer ask the merchants to participate in the purchase of the flowers. So we've done this for a few years now, and it's one of the agenda items that I wanted to talk to this committee about, because I think we need a broader perspective in working with the town than just the garden club. Because if the merchants don't contribute, we found that often they don't take care of the barrels they
They're not
said
watering
that they
them.
want.
So we water the plant, the big metal,
The
concrete
5
planters.
planters we
But
have.
the
one
barrels,
here,
the merchants were supposed to water
we're
and
supposed
they.
to, so,
Well, that's something that I'll bring up at the town.
Okay.
And actually, you should be bringing it up because it's the
yeah,
garden
and I
clubs.
need to start coming to these
So,
board
so
meetings.
that
And
they
be a
understand
voice.
what you
Yeah.
guys want to do also.
And so, as far as more barrels, then it becomes maintenance again, watering.
Yeah,
So the garden club has never watered the barrels,
okay,
except in dire emergency, because the merchants whose businesses they sit in front of are responsible for that.
yeah, and that's something that you need to bring up to the board to make sure that we get something in writing so we can send out to the merchants. These are the barrels are the garden club, and they provide the barrels and they provide the flowers and everything, but it is the merchant's responsibility to water.
And in fact, if they want to retain we have different merchants over the years with different histories, where some merchants have had a single barrel, some have had 4, and have donated generously and paid for those 4. But other merchants through the years that the town has helped us, and we no longer charge the merchants, have just asked for a barrel. So the garden club also has to decide what their parameters are. And I want to do that and bring it back to the board
That's, yep.
and say, we'll plant them, and the cost of planting and caring and now purchasing goes up each year.
Yep, and that's something they need to make sure the board knows about, so that every year they can increase the budget.
Yeah.
If you're taking on more responsibility, more barrels and things like that, yes, yes. Because the garden club is a very big, important, contributor to the beauty of the town with the flowers and the trees and everything else.
So have either of you heard any comments? I know Debbie and I probably have, about the way the barrels look this year with the greenery back in them and with the small wooden trees, ornamental
Oh, for
trees.
the winter, yeah.
For the
Yeah.
winter.
I haven't heard anything back, but it does look very nice.
Yeah, it does look
Good.
This even looks good out here still.
Deer leave it alone.
Yeah,
They
Yeah,
keep
as long as,
pulling.
yeah.
We've been
Keep
spraying them
pulling.
kind of,
Oh, yeah,
or?
they pull things.
well, we switched to just pinion because we thought that perhaps they would not pull them out. We can't keep the wind from blowing them out, but we usually try to water them down, so when it freezes, they
Yeah,
freeze in
yeah,
place, and
yeah.
it's not just an easy thing to pull out.
But
Have you
And-
noticed a lot of debris on Main Street?
when I walked in, I just put them back in there.
The branches? Well, that's why they're not out.
Thank you.
Just to
Okay.
come back in there.
Okay, well, I would really love to know whether it's successful or finally we throw up our hands and say, we're getting artificial
Yeah, you have to
time
do that.
input in these. So that would be another budget item for
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
And
Does it,
storage item for
does it
us.
cost, I mean, where do you guys find the branches and stuff?
They
to put
came from my property.
your property, okay.
I just couldn't stand them not having greenery. I
Yeah,
thought they
no, I
looked
think it
pretty
looks
awful.
great as long as, like you said, the wind and the deer would just.
Leave it
Yeah.
alone.
Do they
Leave
seem to
alone.
avoid the pinion a little bit?
Well, I don't know, I noticed the last time we put juniper and spruce and everything else, and it looked really great. It was a disaster, really.
Okay.
There were branches all over Main Street that I and other members were picking up, and that's why we stopped doing it. And so this year, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, we only did the planters and pinion thinking, and I did not see them missing branches except for the wind.
Mhm.
So then we decided to just do the corridor of Main Street. You'll notice that the barrels out on Second and even down at the bank were not,
Mhm.
they weren't decorated, just the Main Street corridor. So we're still trying to work out how to make the town attractive in winter, because I have a personal problem with empty plastic barrels littered all along Main Street. I wanted to bring a dumpster in and just, but they don't belong to me, or some of them don't belong to the club. Some of them are truly just other merchants.
Yeah, and that's something else we need to talk about at the board, because if we're going to do something like that, it needs to be, we need to have rules in place, we need to follow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it needs
You
to
know,
be,
Everybody does it, and it
Yeah.
all looks,
yeah.
And it all looks good,
Yes.
it's all the same, and the garden club plants the flowers, and the merchants take care of it.
And we have a number that very strongly voiced their opinion. They wanted to do their own and not participate in our program. So we have no power over
And some of them do a
Yes.
very nice job.
Very nice
Very,
job.
very, yes, some of them do
Some
a
of them
very
look
nice
better than
job.
ours
And-
sometimes,
and
last
some-
year.
One person actually came up there one year and started putting trees where the dead trees were. And I
Oh.
said, did you get a hold of the town and see if you could do? And there was a big argument about that, and but they didn't take care of the trees anyway, so they died, so it didn't really matter, but anyway.
Yeah,
That-
and there
so-
are planters large enough, even though I am kind of morally opposed, to plant small ornamental trees
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that would last 8 to 10 years. And it's something that also the town might want to consider, but, I couldn't
Actually,
recommend it.
You mean the new barrels that are coming?
No,
Oh,
other containers,
okay.
Well, yeah,
true
well,
commercial
just like-
containers. Like the big one out
Yeah,
here, but
yeah,
even
yeah.
half round or round,
Right.
they're very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
and then you also, we need to keep them smaller, so we keep the sidewalks open.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those, it's
Oh,
catch
It's
22.
a conundrum.
Yeah.
Because if you take the rules, if I was standing right next to Paul, you're supposed to have 42 inches walk area through. And if I were standing next to Paul, we're 46 inches.
Yeah.
So guess what? You really can't
Can
get
stroll
two
down the
people.
avenue.
You can't get two people, and if somebody stops and looks in the windows, boom, then you got a
Yeah.
bottleneck right there.
Yeah.
So north side of the sidewalks is terrible for them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then, what I will do is when we have our next board meeting, I will talk about the park here and putting the berms and trees in, and the fencing around it. And that's about all we're gonna have money for this year.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll have to get with Neil and his crew to figure out where we can put these things so we can deal with the watering and all that other stuff. I know we'd all like to have a lot more money to do a lot more stuff, but guess what? Grants have dried up. And we're gonna have to be very, very frugal with what we do. That's why I was also saying, instead of clumping them in one area, I'd like to see them just around the whole.
Dispersed.
Dispersed around the park, so it doesn't look like we got one area is just trees and the rest of it's
And
nothing.
then the only problem with that is getting water to a diverse area. You can't really clump a tree because they all need space to grow.
Yes, yes.
But you can have diversity in a certain space within a certain area. I would still say that the majority of shade that we need is still somewhere. It doesn't have to be within an island in the playground. It could in fact
It could be,
be where parents can sit and watch their children.
it could
play.
be, yeah, it's just a shaded area. I think they just wanted the town just didn't want them in the playground area, so they had more room for playground equipment, and all of that stuff. And yeah, the trees maybe right along the edge, things like that.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like out across, headed west, across from the grocery store on the counter, across from the bowling alley, there's just that little, with the fence around it.
Mhm.
What is there, 1, 2 trees there?
Couple trees, couple
Are you talking by the, across from the
From
bluff?
Lowe's, across from the bowling alley on the corner, just kind
There's
of on the
two
corner.
tree gardens, one across from the bluffs behind the west of the bowling alley.
Mhm.
I mean, sorry,
I'm
west of the,
talking about the one on the corner by the new
On
sidewalk.
Adams
On the other side.
Adams and Main Street.
or Leah Lane and Main Street.
No,
No, Leo Lane's the
I'm
other one.
right on the corner. So
Adams.
here I can look at the bluff, here's the
Yeah.
bowling alley,
Okay, yeah.
here's that one little.
Yeah, and that's
right
all
there.
still
there's
fenced.
about
So,
5 trees.
There's 5 trees in there.
I think so. There are 2 evergreens, I think, and maybe 3
So
aspen.
you said there was enough in the budget for what, 10 trees? 10
With
trees?
$40,000, and I was using Ing's figure about what trees cost, but then you've got the other things, you got the fencing you gotta put around them. We're gonna have to water them somehow, and mulch, flowers. Maybe if you do a berm, some rocks or something, you know, all of a
So
sudden
if you did something like that on the corner, but maybe not, maybe 2 or 3 trees and something like that along the outside, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking, yes,
At
they're gonna
Memorial?
have to be, yeah, is that where we're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Memorial?
yeah.
Yes.
But do something like that around sporadically
Mhm.
in places.
A grouping,
A
Yeah,
grouping kind of like that
'cause
where
you
you
got-
can put the fence, but
yeah.
Cause you got right up here, you've got the old archway, so we really should do something on the inside of the park at the archway. And then depending upon what the town says about the baseball field, we've got a picnic table over there and bleachers, so we really
you
need
could
to
even
do.
do a grouping of something like one on
Yeah.
each side of wherever your bleacher
and we've
are,
got-
or.
And we've got the covered picnic areas, we've got 2 of those, but we're talking about putting in more of those, so you might, well, you really wouldn't wanna put those in place before you put the
Mm-mm.
covered area in, cause you know, just the
And
soil contamination and the water, if you can't water them right, and equipment running over stuff, so.
the majority of people desperate for shade watching their children play in the playground, which is more on the south end. So we gotta think about that too.
Yeah, well,
Okay, well,
we
according,
do have one tree over
We
there,
do.
but, and then, you know,
well, you do have trees on the near the archway on that park. You
Mhm.
have trees. This is the satellite map. You
Yeah.
have, whoops,
lost it.
you have trees
Oh,
in
yeah.
this
Yeah.
area.
Some good size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you have trees. So you have trees around this shelter and outside of that shelter. And trees in this area, and some of these have been lost, I think, since this has been updated. This
We had to
is
cut one down
2026.
After the windstorm blew half of it over,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
take
so
it.
really?
is that one, oops, wrong way up.
It wasn't that great, but it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we really, we have to decide within this if we need more trees, if we need them, if this is going to stay the same shape, you have a tree off the end. And it was simply around that tree. I think they've unfortunately didn't see the design that I brought from some parks that do have like this. I mean, you wouldn't want to lose that tree if you
No.
extend it.
No, and I'm not talking about taking
And
out
it would be
any trees
nice
that,
to have
Yeah.
something else to shade the area. I
And
don't know.
and maybe it's just the simple fact, we just drop one tree into there. And that's it, you know, and they put a bench around it, you know.
Because there is a bench at this tree.
Yeah.
There is one at one of them.
And that was why we kind of talked
Mhm.
about maybe expanding that
So,
little
yeah, we're
island.
using that same thing. I mean, we have nothing, oops, sorry about that. We have nothing from here all the way up, nothing from here all the way up to there. And I don't even remember if we have trees on the I think there's some trees on the very end, but it's on the outside of the park.
Yeah, it is. It's past the fence.
Yeah. So-
And so I still want us to remember, well, first of all, I don't like the way Hermit Park looks with its rows of trees around the edge. I think looks, I
I'm sorry.
personally like a more natural look.
On where the pavilion is,
Yes.
that area
The
there?
way the trees
That's-
just line the
yeah,
grassy
yeah.
area, like
That was
like it's
done by,
Yeah.
a prison exercise yard.
but you got those trees there, they're too big to move.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I
So
don't,
they're gonna,
you know,
yeah, I mean,
even
we're stuck with it.
going forward, if funds were totally
That's-
available,
that's-
no problem, you could expand little areas out from those trees and make them
Yeah.
look, but
First things first.
pairing with what we
Yeah.
have, I just don't want to duplicate that look. I'd rather have
Yeah.
groupings of trees
Well,
with different variety of
That's-
trees within the grouping. And
Yeah.
like you say, that works because it's a smaller area. You can protect it and you can water it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important that we focus on that and
Yeah.
pick a place within this park that we could do something similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, I'd rather see staggered around
Yes.
instead of just one big,
We don't have enough money to do so.
We don't.
Correct.
well, we know, I mean, we would have enough to do maybe, 4 or 5 things
Pine
like
trees or
that,
something.
you know.
I think we'd have enough money to do one grouping.
Only one for
One?
40,000?
Well, I mean, if you put in 4, 5
Well-
different trees, you
Right.
do the watering, you do the fence,
Right.
you do a berm, you do a rock, you do a
Right.
bench. It goes.
Well, maybe we
Yeah.
don't need to get that.
Well, and.
Maybe we
That's
just-
what I'm like, 2 trees, you know, like, could you do
Two-
2
yeah,
trees?
you wanna do
do
three?
like 2
Right.
trees and there and a
Do
barn.
2, do
Because,
a
you know, once they
3.
start growing, you don't
You don't
want a whole
want
bunch
them
of, yeah. Well, like Jess Price, all of a sudden it just,
Yeah, no, you have to
It-
space
Yeah,
them.
and if we want to use the watering system that's
Mhm.
at the bluff now, in that
Yeah.
fenced area, and move it to Memorial,
yes.
maybe that would take,
Well, we got 2 of them down there, so.
2 of the big tanks, and
Yeah.
we'd have to ask the guard.
that's
'cause
quite a
they're-
large grouping of trees, actually.
That is a
It
really big.
is, and
We can
they
say
are
half
of
just
that.
a little
In
too
fact-
close.
They are.
Yeah, they are, I was just getting ready to say, they're actually too close, because in another
Yeah.
5, 10 years, they're gonna be choking each other out.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so,
So, yeah, I mean, it's very, very important, and I spent a lot of time researching a lot of trees, information through Colorado State University, who is kind of the end-all authority in Colorado, and what the mature size of a tree should be, so you can plan for it. And just like, but it really depends on where and how they're planted and how they're cared for. Just like the trees, the Mancana ash that are by Jones Theater. Those trees, while they're about 30, 35 feet tall now, that's it for them. I can't imagine that they'll grow much taller given where they're planted.
Yeah.
But those trees have the potential of being 50 to 55 feet tall. They'll never reach it
Right.
there,
Yeah.
but they might in the park, so we have to plan for that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's some things we'll work on and bring to the next board meeting.
Yeah, what I can do is take your suggestions, all of your
Mhm.
suggestions,
Mhm.
and work a couple of different scenarios. And then bring it back to this committee.
I'd like to bring it
First,
to
before
the,
the board,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just even,
Okay,
price, what would something small like that? Maybe you already
Yeah.
know.
I think
I
we need
just-
to do something.
Price it out.
Yeah, we need to show some movement.
well, yeah, because we haven't,
Not much.
no, I mean, for 4 months, we've been idling, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so, okay. But then, now to the next thing too, is the board wants to see a 5-year plan. Okay?
Okay, well, they won't see it by this next meeting.
No, they ain't gonna see it by this next meeting. I have written down some things that I have thought of, and I'd like to bring them up at the next meeting, but I want everybody to just stop and think about a 5-year plan. This year here isn't year one.
Okay.
It'll start
27 is year
27, it'll be year one. And it also depends upon how much money we get. I mean, if.
It's hard to do a 5-year plan when we don't know, yeah.
They're very hard, and it's gonna be one of these things where we come up with plans and we go, okay, but if we don't have enough money to do it, then it gets pushed off to the next year. So now all of a sudden your 5-year plans become a 10-year plan.
Or denigratingly, to where we say, okay, this is our 5-year plan, we want to do this in 27, but if we don't have the money, what can we do for half the money or a quarter of the money?
Yes, you know, I mean, yeah,
I mean, that's complicated, but that'll keep us busy.
it will keep, yeah. And also, the town is talking about, looking for a new place to put their, maintenance building, a new maintenance building.
Oh,
So, because you've got 2 of them right now, the one right over here, and then you got the old state building over there
By Herman,
by the parks, yeah.
where do they want it?
Well, they don't have a place to put it yet. So this is gonna be the very end of the 5-year plan. I mean, in fact, you can call this year 6, because it's gonna take a long time to get things squared away and get money and try to save money to buy the property. Then you got, depending on when you go, where you got a water and sewer system that you can connect to or not.
but this shouldn't be our venue.
No, but the whole thing is when they do that, then they want Parks Committee to figure out what they want to do,
With the old places.
the old places. So,
So it wouldn't be expanding either location, it would be a brand new location.
Abandoning 2 locations and a brand
no, it
new.
would just be adding on to,
Oh, adding a third.
well, no, just adding on to the, where the pavilion is, that area.
Oh, as more of a park.
Herman.
Yeah, Hermit, yeah, sorry, if they change it.
I know,
names
it's
of things, so,
confusing. It
you
took
know,
me
it used
5
to be
years to
Veterans
remember.
Park, and now it's Memorial Park.
So you're saying their
So-
place there now would turn into part of the actual park?
Well, there's.
Yeah, this area here
Yeah,
Over by the
Would-
tennis courts.
Yeah, by the
and stuff
tennis
like
courts.
that.
would become,
Right.
Part of the park.
part of the park, but and I'm just gonna kick it out real quick. This is parking here, and it's always, you got events, it's always full and people are parking all over the place. So I would like to just see, let's go with extending this out as more parking
mhm.
and then doing something with this down here, maybe as far as the tennis ball court that people we've talked about for years and years and years. And the pavilion, you know, if the town wants another pavilion bigger, you know, that thing's gonna be $250,000.
Yeah.
And it requires, as
Yeah.
I understand it, some repair in the
I
wood.
think it's already been repaired.
Oh, okay, great.
I think that was it. Yes,
I know we have the log wraps to put around the outside poles.
okay, I don't know what Neil had planned for it. You know, I know he was working on it, and that's fine, because we get too many cooks in the kitchen, you know, and the souffle falls. You know?
What do you
So-
think the board would like to see? One of the favorite things, I mean,
On that area over there, they basically kicked it into our,
but if you were to go back to the board and say, this is what we're gonna do in 26,
Oh, 26, yeah.
Yeah, just right now with our 40,000,
Yeah, yeah.
do you know, we're gonna plant 4 trees or 5 trees or
Let's
2 groupings?
let's call them groupings, because I don't want to, if we start talking about trees, everybody's gonna go, $10,000 for a tree? What the heck?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't, like I said.
Small groupings.
Small groupings and to make it to look like we're doing something, so
Somewhere
somebody,
in Memorial Park.
somewhere in Memorial Park, yeah. And like I said, and what the board is going to do about the bathrooms is not gonna put porta potties over here until,
Charming.
Yeah, how cute, charming, she said.
oh yeah, oh, charming, yeah. Yeah.
Are they gonna be at least upgraded porta potties or just porta potties? Okay. And
I
are they
walk
gonna be
home
in
and
the
use my
sun?
bathroom, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It sounds like we should do a field trip to Memorial Park You know.
Yeah, and really look around.
and look and see
Yeah.
what,
Well, we can do that for the, well,
I could go there right now.
well, I could go there too, but.
Yeah, I don't think I have an agenda. I have one more thing I have to do, which is I have located where the barrels will be stored until May.
So, good.
And I just have to find out if I'm supposed to go directly from this meeting to
Okay.
there or later, so excuse me
Sure.
while I just search my phone. Well, I have no response, so I don't have to be anywhere.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah,
Um,
we can go over there and just take a look around and see what we think. Do you want to come too, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that'd be
Okay.
great.
It'll give me a ride.
She's
Oh, okay,
a
we
much,
got it.
she's a much better, you know, thing from Neil than Neil because he's so much, you know, more, he's got so much going on.
He's got the whole town to worry
He's got the
about.
whole town to worry about and,
And also, he wants to make sure he can get the doggone lawnmowers around the trees.
right, yeah.
Right.
And she's got some perspective on that
Oh,
too.
yes.
So before I forget, over the weekend, I came to Jessica's Park and the fence had been caved in around the little garden area.
Oh, okay.
And it was completely open and destroyed from the north side, as if an
Okay.
animal had run through it.
Okay.
I put it back,
I was
but
gonna
it
say, we
is
didn't
not,
see,
it is not stable and the stakes are bent.
okay.
So it needs to be repaired, and I found various scat within the garden area. So it was either a deer and or bear.
Oh,
So I
Wow.
definitely found deer scat. I'm not that good with bear scat.
Right, me
But
neither.
it might have been that as well. So
Okay.
it was breached
We can
from
go,
the north.
yeah, we can
Okay.
go take a look at it this afternoon.
The deer have literally ripped up a bunch of my fencing around my stuff too. Of course, I buy the little bitty trees that in 10 years will be halfway decent now. About the time they'll be putting them in my grave, so.
Can we just adjourn this meeting?
Well, I think
or
what
do
we'll
you
do is,
wanna-
yeah, we're going to
relocate?
relocate the meeting to the park. And I'll ask her how we should be doing that.
Okay.
it's a beautiful day, unfortunately.
It's a beautiful day.
You don't have a card or anything, do you?
No,
Any contact
I can give
directly?
you my phone number.
That would be awesome. And I can give you mine when I do see things like that, because I do check these parts.
Okay, yeah.
I tend to give them to Neil.
Mhm.
Are you getting Casey in?
Yeah. Contacts.
CASEY?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your last name?
Mars.
Are you really?
I'm Neil's daughter-in-law.
Oh, how
Yes.
cute. MARS, okay.
RRS.
RRS, sorry.
MARRS, yes.
How cute. Okay, and your phone?
719 641 1072.
Okay, 1072,
Yes.
719-641-1072.
Yes.
Thank you. And how about I can just message you,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay?
Because
And
we're, Christopher and I are
it's-
usually the ones out doing the trash run and stuff in the morning, so
Oh, yeah, I
if
know
there's,
Christopher, okay,
if there's stuff,
right, you see it first, probably.
we can fix it or do whatever, and I'll put a note in my calendar to, we'll look at that this afternoon.
Okay, sweet. And then I'll text you, my name and number, how about that? We'll do that.
Perfect. Yeah.
in fact, I just have, I hope it comes through on your phone.
Dawn?
Yeah, but in the message itself, it should say Ingmunden,
Yep. Okay, got it.
okay? And then is a Florida area code. In 12 years, I haven't changed it.
Yeah, you kind of gotten over the fact that if we don't recognize the area code, you don't worry about it anymore, right?
Okay.
Like, everybody comes through somewhere.
Yeah, I'm from Iowa, so.
Oh, wow. So you know growing plants, right? Where it's easy?
Yeah. Here, not so much. It's
Yeah,
a little
no,
bit
not
more
here.
difficult.
Okay.
Okay. So I wonder if she'll want to turn this on.
Yeah, we can help there.
I've got, any parents needed in church education. Okay.
Whenever you want to shut that off. Right, it's stopped.
We're gonna carry this on, I'll let you do that.